Good morning, everybody. This is John Bergsma from the Great Lakes Fisherman's Digest. We're here today in Ely, Minnesota. Smallmouth bass fishing, topwater. Middle of June, this is going to be a great show. Stay tuned. There you go, Grant. Nice one.
All right, Grant, way to go.
Whoa, woo! Nice fish, Grant.
Thanks, Lord.
Yeah, you just got done praying. Hey, that's a nice one too, Grant. Wow, that was like a breaching great white when he hit that one. He's not done yet.
They like to go underneath the boat.
You can belly grab him. You want me to grab him down here, Grant?
No, I'll just hoist him.
That's a nice one. Nice fish. Wow, they're dark.
Yeah, it's that,
Tannic water?
yep. He had like a belly on him too.
Oh yeah, he's been feeding. Well, that's a nice one, Grant. We'll show you the bait we're using today. It's a little mini torpedo frog. And it has a little blade. It's by head and it has a little blade. And whether it's still in the water, like it was when that first fish literally slurped that bait right down off the water, I saw that strike. When you're done working the super shallow cast, you can just slow retrieve this and this little blade will spin and create a little bit of like a prop noise and also a little wake, and it seems to be doing really good in these shallow water areas that we're working this morning. Nice fish, Grant. Ely, Minnesota is a fantastic discovery for me. After years of traveling all over the upper Midwest, I'd say, and even the whole nation, looking for fantastic places to fish. Upon arriving at Ely, and right now as we fish here, we've experienced some of the best fishing that I've ever experienced anywhere. The smallmouth bass fishing is fantastic here. The walleye fishing is fantastic. Whether you're in a boat or Ely is often known as a boundary water community and it's just canoeing. It's not just canoeing. There's many fantastic lakes that you can fish with boat and engine, and it's offered us some of the finest fishing that we've ever experienced.
That's a nice one. Of course, we forgot our landing net today, but...
Make that 11.
We are bass fishing.
Yeah, we're fishing along the shoreline here and there's some emerging weeds out a little deeper, so I was just casting out and slow rolling my teeny torpedo along, and it makes a little wake. Looks like, I don't know if it looks like a frog or a mouse swimming, but they seem to like the little slow motion, so it came up and smacked it pretty good. Right at the boat too. Probably one of the closest one I've caught to a boat.
Well, my guest today has been Jim Orcutt, and Jim I've known for years as a past competitor on my tournament trail, the In-Fisherman Professional Walleye Trail, and I've competed against Jim in the past, and today we had a fantastic day on the water. Oh, nice fish.
And that's one thing about when you surface fishing, if the bass miss it, throw in something different.
What'd you throw, a leech there?
Just a little jig and a leech. And lots of times if they'll go for something different.
What do you think that is, Jim? Do you think that's just because they may be a little neutral and not quite willing to take the surface bait?
Yeah, they get a look at it and they miss it, and it's just something different instead of the same thing that they've seen a couple of times. So
that's another really, really nice fish.
Yep.
You can tell the water in this lake is kind of tannic with the copper color.
The darker color, yep.
That's
and they're eating good. I mean, these fish have some nice bellies on them. So they're hungry and eating, and they're fun to catch. Yeah, the fishing for smallmouth bass fishing here up in Ely, we're middle of June, and casting the shorelines and fishing, you know, I'd say a half foot out to 3 feet of water catching fish, and you wouldn't think this time of year they'd be that shallow, but you just never know with fish, and I think they're in there eating crawfish and minnows, and we've had a pretty good day so far. Weather's cooperating, the fish are cooperating. And we need to get a few more in the boat though. I'm just amazed sometimes at how shallow the fish will stay on these lakes up here. I mean, the water temperature surface it was in the 70s the other day, and we're fishing 2 or 3 feet or less, you know, and catching nice big smallmouth.
Yeah, really nice fish. Nice one, Granny. Another one, Grant?
I think he drags a little loose, maybe.
Well, I think that's a nice fish too. Twitching or reeling?
Landon.
Oh yeah, this is a good spot, Jim. So Grant, what have you been doing that's really been different, making the difference? Do you think?
Well, basically I've just been looking around for overhanging brush over the water, and then this guy, I saw a swirl behind the boat, threw it right in the center of the swirl, and picked him up.
What presentation? How are you working your bait though?
I'm snap jigging it, just
Almost like walking the dog, like
Yep.
twitching.
just moving it along about 2 inches, and then letting it set for a second.
Beautiful, nice fish. Good job, man. Oh, nice one. Another nice one.
Yep, now he moved to the front of the boat and he seems to be catching the fish up in the front now.
We've tried everything to keep him from catching fish. I know what we can do to make it not catch fish, Jim. If we put a mic on him,
Put a mic on him.
he won't catch anything.
We could leave him at the dock.
That's another beautiful fish. We're plenty close enough.
My horse isn't catching me.
Another nice one, eh?
Yep. Yeah, and it's hard to imagine that the smallmouth weren't native to this area.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did they come from?
Somebody brought them up, I think it was,
Like central U.S.?
yeah.
I know they were real prevalent in Kentucky and Tennessee and places like that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great Lakes Fisherman's Digest is brought to you by Lowrance Electronics, fish the finest. Great Lakes Fisherman's Digest is brought to you by Motor Guide, engineered for anglers.
That's a nice fish too. No, I don't know. That's a nice fish there.
Yeah.
Oh, they are really scrappy at this time of year. I guess I'll let him wear himself out. Oh, that's a heavier fish than I thought. Yeah, that's a beautiful fish. Wow, I love how dark brown these fish are, Jim.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They've got that little gold stripe right on them, and boy, are they scrappy. Beautiful fish. Today's fishing was really successful because we keyed in very early on the location of the fish. The fish were in a very close proximity to the shorelines. They, all day long, have been in a mix of boulders where there was just a few strands of cabbage weed. Not weedy by any means, not like you're pitching to weed bunches, but just a strand here and a strand there. And we were pitching a head-in bait, which is called the mini torpedo. It was in the frog color, and it has a small prop on the back. And what we found to be effective today was that we would pitch it all the way up to shore, literally within a foot of shore. We'd twitch it maybe 4, 5, 6 times, twitch it maybe the first 10 feet of our retrieve. And after there was if there wasn't an initial strike on that bait, we slowly reeled it in, and it seemed like we were able to coax another probably 5 or 10 strikes on that slow retrieve. Was that prop on the back of that mini torpedo spun, and it just irritated the bass, and they'd come right out of the water with it.
Oh yeah.
Good one, Jimmy.
Come on.
Looks like a nice one.
I think that's bigger than Grant's.
It's about time.
Ooh.
Gonna be
This
a
one's
fish.
all beat up.
That's okay. We like all beat up.
Hit that top water. Man, they're fun to catch on that top water.
These lakes in Ely are really stuffed
Yeah.
with these things. From what I can see, we put our boat in last night and caught 4 of them.
Yep.
And
yep.
we had never been here in our lives.
Yep. Yeah, and it's nice, the nice dark color. Beautiful fish.
Yeah, they're healthy, boy, and they fight. Oh,
That's what, almost look like a largemouth.
that's the bait we're using today, and that little prop right there is what makes this bait deadly. When you're done twitching it and making it acting like a frog that jumped off of shore into the water, you can just slow roll that by reeling it really slowly. And this prop here really spins and gives off a nice little funky sound. And it seems like the bass, when they're not smashing it first thing in the morning, you can catch them throughout the day just by slow reeling this right back through. And especially around lily pads, weed cover, or shallow rock is what we're working today. Nice fish, Grant.
Yeah, you like it when you can hear the strike.
This segment brought to you by Ely, Minnesota, on the Boundary Waters Canoe Area. Ely, one of North America's last pure wilderness experiences. This segment is brought to you by Trax Tech, the ultimate fishing system. Also known as the small town at the end of the road, Ely, Minnesota is the gateway for an experience of a lifetime. Outdoor enthusiasts come from all over the world to fish, hike, birdwatch, camp, and canoe. The Boundary Waters offers over 1,500 miles of canoe routes, with secluded campsites that are placed in various locations throughout the routes. It is the largest wilderness area east of the Rockies and one of America's last pure outdoor experiences. There are plenty of attractions in Ely that naturally fit this area, such as the International Wolf Center, which is its flagship interpretive facility, a multi-million-dollar complex that examines one of the most elusive and misunderstood animals in the world. Visitors to the center learn about the natural history of wolves by touring the Wolves and Humans exhibit and by observing the resident ambassador wolf pack. Programs include breathtaking movies, daily presentations, demonstrations, field trips, day and night experiences for families and individuals of all ages. The Dorothy Moulter Museum is a memorial to the legendary last resident of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, who died in 1986 after living most of her 79 years on Knife Lake near the U.S.-Canadian border. Canoeists often stopped at Moulter's home to enjoy her hospitality and famous homemade root beer. She was often referred to as the Root Beer Lady. The museum's 2 log cabins were transported out of the wilderness area piece by piece and reassembled in Ely. A video and guided tour tells the story of Dorothy. Visit the museum for a warm welcome and an ice-cold Dorothy's Isle of Pines root beer. But fishing will always be the #1 attraction of Ely, Minnesota. The Ely area is blessed with access to more than 5,000 lakes, streams, and rivers filled with walleye, northern pike, small and largemouth bass, crappies, bluegills, and lake trout. It is definitely a sportsman's paradise.
I'll tell you, one of the things that I've noticed from the minute I got to town about Ely, Minnesota was just a complete, it's almost like they dropped a town in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean, Jim?
Yep, yeah.
It's like, it's a really cool town. It's got really good places to eat, and, you know, like the Steger Muckluck store, which is a famous insulated boot that's original to Ely. But they've got some really cool shopping venues and things to do in town. And then they've got some really historic stuff. You've got the Wolf Center, which really is a cool thing for families to go through, or couples to go through, even guys to go through if they're interested in wolves. But the Dorothy Moulter Museum, that's a must-stop place here in Ely, Minnesota. But basically, you know, beyond fishing, which is fantastic, that's the one thing that's impressed me the most probably, is the fact that we dumped our boat in on the first night just to kill some time and caught 5 fish. We'd never been on the lake or didn't know anything other than making one phone call to Jim, and he basically said, yeah, just put a topwater on, start pitching. And that's exactly what we did, and we're having great luck.
Yeah, and the tagline for the radio station here is end of the road radio. You're basically, I mean, you can't really go anywhere once you get here. You can drive out of town 20 miles and then the road ends and that's it. So you have to be, it's a destination place. It's,
yeah,
like
I mean, I'd been driving, to Baudette, Minnesota to go fish with my buddy at Lake of the Woods for years, and I had driven within 20 miles of Ely, Minnesota, but never been to Ely, Minnesota. It's a place you got to make a right turn and go to, but let me tell you, it's worth that right turn.
Yeah. Whew.
Wow.
You want me to grab them from back here?
Jim,
I'll get him.
Boy, he swallowed it too. There you go, John.
look at that frog. Can you believe that frog?
That one's in there. It's buried. They're hitting them really good. Yeah, I moved up here 22 years ago. I grew up in Minneapolis and then was working in South Florida, and my dad had bought a house up here, and I'd come up for a vacation and just kind of fell in love with the area. You know, you could live in town and you can be on 5, 6 different lakes in 5 minutes. The fishing is phenomenal. You can fish for lake trout, smallmouth, largemouth, walleyes, crappies, you know, just any number of species. And you can be on a lake in, like I said, 10 minutes at the most. And yeah, I wasn't always a fishing guide. I started that 11 years ago. Worked in the restaurant business and got tired of working inside 80 hours a week. So, but boy, talk about, you know, diversity, you know, for fishing, hiking, you know, whatever somebody wants to do, pretty much can do it up here in Ely.
Today we have roasted garlic herb walleye, along with zucchini, roasted potatoes, and squash. So let's get this thing going. We're gonna oil up our zucchini and squash. It's gonna take a little extra time for them to cook, so we're gonna put them on first. Right on your hot grill. Press them down a little bit. Shut it up, wait about probably 4 minutes. Let them get the meaty part cooked mostly, and then throw on your walleye. All right, I got my potatoes cooking inside. We're gonna season up the walleye. We have a roasted garlic herb seasoning. All we gotta do, put that right on the walleye. A little bit of oil. And then right before you put them on the grill, just spray wherever you're gonna put them. That way they won't stick. Alrighty, our walleye's been on for about 4 minutes now, so she's ready to flip over. And we're gonna turn our zucchini and squash over at the same time. Once again, just be really delicate, gentle with this walleye. Ooh, yeah. There we go. And these I'm actually going to put up top because I can feel that they're done. And that'll just keep them warm up there. Alrighty, our walleye's ready. We're gonna take her off, go inside, pair it up with the potatoes, and fill ourselves up. Ooh. Almost lost that one. There we go, see you inside. All right, here we have it. Our garlic herb grilled walleye with fried red skin potatoes and grilled zucchini and squash. Enjoy.
Well, thanks for joining us today here on the Fisherman's Digest. If you're looking for a great place to come and catch some great fish and experience a cool town, Jim, it's got to be Ely, Minnesota, don't you think?
Ely, Minnesota is a place to come.
That's right. Well, hey, if you want a great recipe for the fish that we caught today, as well as great destination information, join us at fishermansdigest.com. This is John Bergsma, host of Fisherman's Digest. Have a great day.
Closed captioning provided by the Quality Inns of Escanaba, Manistee, and St. Ignace on US 2 in the eastern Upper Peninsula.
When you surface fishing, if the bass miss it, throw in something different.
What'd you throw, a leech there?
Just a little jig and a leech.